This is the GPL podcast, part of the Pull Tab Sports family.
Oh boy. Jupe making mistakes. I love it. Big TV star Cappy.
Oh,
Yeah. He didn't. I've been on once in October. Eat that Todd. Eat that Schloss. Eat that Drew.
now here's Jupiter and Vigo. Good evening and welcome to the GPL podcast, episode number 302. Vigs, a extremely positive weekend for the Gophers. Oh, you're muted there. Sorry.
That's the team we've been waiting for since the start of the year.
You think?
I think we all thought this team had potential to be, like a top 10 team, maybe not, a number one seed, but we thought, if this team performs as expected, they could play like they did last weekend. And what a relief for Bob Motzko and his staff.
I hope so, because it was a good feeling. It was fun to be around the rink last weekend. For once, I think I don't think they'd swept since Notre Dame. So it's been a little while. And it was their first win since our guests' alma mater beat them back in December. Let's just bring them on now. Paul Caponigri. Cappy, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Is that right? That was their first win?
That was their first win since they lost
man.
the second game at Ohio State.
Game. They split that series, right?
Yep, 7 straight losses.
Wow. And then with the long winter break, Christmas holidays, that seems like forever then, huh?
It wasn't it, Viggs?
The message board and social media were not being kind to Coach Bob Motzko or the Gophers. And that's what comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
When you play for Minnesota, the fans have high expectations, and a losing streak like that isn't something they're used to. And I think it was very frustrating for everybody, and no one more than the players.
Yeah. So we know there's big news tonight that just came out a couple hours ago. We'll get to Gavin McKenna in a little bit. We thought we'd kind of cover the Gophers first.
Yeah.
But so we're not going to forget about it. But Viggs, if anything, besides the winning, Eric Paulson woke up and the power play just keeps going up.
And Becca Hetchinson found the net. So secondary scoring and your top guys going is a great recipe for Minnesota. I think we've seen this roster struggle to score throughout the year. Well, Motzko's now loaded up a top line with his 3 best scorers, and they look like an elite line in college hockey and how it's supposed to look. They got a lot of momentum, put a lot of pressure on Wisconsin, and then the secondary players fed off of that. And I felt like they had more energy throughout the weekend and chipped in here and there. But I don't think any of that happens without Lamb, Mooney, and Zemer just, driving the ship.
100% on that. So Cappy, this season, the power play, what'd you say, Viggs? It's probably in the 30s and 40s ranking. And it's really been this last month where it's just gone right up. Now they're number 2 in the country. So a huge improvement there. Yes, the power play is the worst in the country, or penalty kill, I should say.
Yeah.
But they don't give up a ton of power plays for the other team. So it's hard to really improve that when you're not taking many penalties.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you want to win the special teams battle every game,
True.
all right? So, all right, if you go 2 for 5 on the power play and you go, 2 out of 3, you win the special teams 2-1, right? You still give up a PK, but yeah, if you're not giving up as many, the PK won't get exposed as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're just looking for positives. One thing you didn't mention from last weekend, I thought, Luka was really good in net when he needed to be. Yeah, like he gave up some goals, but there were a couple times where the game was close and he came up with a couple big saves that maybe he didn't, or they didn't get in general in goal, that really maybe gives you shrug, as a player, sometimes not that you're mad at your goalie, but you can just like, oh, here we go again. Or, things aren't bouncing our way. Things started bouncing the Gophers' way. I thought he played well. And then I think the players fed off of that as well, to have such success.
Viggs, we have been talking about that. Bob made Luka kind of number one. He's playing more. He didn't play much at Michigan State. I think, the alternating, he really wasn't, sometimes he'd, Area get 2 games, maybe get a third game, and then he'd come back, and there really wasn't consistency there. But now he's got a consistency. He's playing and he's improving, and we've been noticing it for really this last month.
Yeah, I think the first half of the year, Luka is probably giving away a goal that he'd like to have back most nights. And now here in the second half, even though the team lost 7 in a row, Luka is really strong. He was probably their best player in some of those games against Michigan and Penn State, Michigan State, and he was making a lot of saves. And I think if you look at his save percentage, the last 10 games, he's probably a top 10 goalie save percentage wise in the country. And that's something that Minnesota hasn't had for a little while. And it probably gives them a little bit more confidence. And I think we saw the Gopher blue line play with a little more pizzazz this last week because they didn't have to worry so much about their goaltending, and they could step up and they could make some better transition plays. And I thought John Whipple had probably one of his best weekends as a Gopher.
Yeah, I was just going to mention John Whipple. He was great. I mean, you had that, and then 6 of 8 on the power play, Viggs. And one of those power plays, I want to say, has 1 second left in the Friday night game. So
yeah, they look great. I go to practice, and on Wednesdays they do special teams, and this is not a fluke. That top power play unit probably scores on about half their chances in practice, and it's no surprise that it carries over into games. And I think early in the year, they weren't quite scoring at a high clip, but I didn't have any worry about that top unit because they were able to gain the zone. They were able to establish a presence. They were able to win back second chances. They just weren't getting the goals quite at the frequency they're getting them now. And on top of that, right now, they're scoring in a lot of different ways. It's not like there's just one player like a Jimmy Snuggerud where everyone knows where the puck is going. This group has a lot of different guys that can score, and they've got a player in LJ Mooney who can escape and buy time and create opportunities for teammates.
On the flip side, Cappy, the Badger fall is still coming down fast. That's 6 losses in a row for them. 4 of them at home now, 2 of them to your biggest rival. They get some injury. Obviously, we saw some injuries there. It's just getting worse for them. Are they in free fall?
I would say if they don't win both games this weekend, you're playing Notre Dame at home, a team that's won one game all year in the Big Ten at home against Ohio State. I'd say yes. This is a weekend that could get them better. Look, they've had injuries. I was doing a game early in the year. They lost Zach Schultz for the year. I think for the year. I mean, I think he broke his leg at that time, and this was in December. And then the Logan Hensler, I haven't read anything, but that did not. I don't know if you guys have a final on that, but that does not look good. Like
it doesn't look good, and the way
I don't
Todd
see him
was
playing
speaking,
anytime soon, at least.
Yeah, it was, he came together with Whipple, I believe, wasn't it, Viggs? They just kind of came together, and it was just Whipple kind of went up high, and he just kind of crunched him. There was no intentional, nothing like that. No, totally. But it was
just game, like it happens, right?
It was very unfortunate, Viggs, and he needed help off, and we saw him after the game. He was not moving around too well.
Well, especially in hockey, your foot's in a boot. So when it gets caught in kind of a weird spot, it looks like his toe got caught under him, and then all that weight coming down from just a collision that happens in hockey. Unfortunate injury for Hensler, who's hasn't probably had his best year as a hockey player, and it's you hate to see it.
No, it was super unfortunate.
It's hard to know where that team's going to go right now. I mean, look, like the Gophers lost 6 in a row to 3 top 5 teams too. You got to kind of put that a little bit into part of the structure there. Michigan State like, I don't know if, how much they can go down from 1-2. North Dakota maybe could catch them, but like they have, like, are kind of way up there right now.
Mhm.
So like, you're not playing, no offense, I don't know, name a team in the bottom 30 in the country. So like it can kill your motivation, your confidence. That's what a really good team can do to you. So like maybe if they can find some confidence this weekend and win a couple games, and some other guys that haven't, Quinn Finley's the guy I look at that's just, they need that guy to be the leader of their offense. So, Mike Hastings, who I know well, has got a lot of work to do there. But they still have everything in front of them. And, I think like the Gophers kind of do too. If this keeps going in a right direction, like this weekend, I think is huge for the Gophers. What do you do after a big emotional against your rivalry, against a team that you've had a lot of success against at home, but I don't know if the crowd's going to be as engaged. Will the Gophers maybe get them engaged to maybe get them over the top with how, if they can keep rolling?
And I also don't want to forget about Paulson. He had 2 goals on the season. He's got 5 goals on the season. One off of Hauser's helmet, which I got a great angle of.
Unbelievable
right
shot, actually.
And it's just what he needed.
Yeah, I think he's a player who was having some confidence issues, with his first half. Last year he got going and then he breaks his collarbone and kind of a lost season. This year he's kind of struggling, has that upper body injury, takes him out of the lineup again. Just hard to get back into it. And so I think he's a player that needed a little good vibes from the weekend to maybe add to his game. And with those RVH goalies now, that's a great place to shoot the puck. And he took advantage of it there.
God, I hate that. I really do. I mean, even if he doesn't score there, if he shoots it low, I think it just creates a second chance a lot better. Or, just a loose puck in the crease. Look, I'm no goalie, never have been, but it just doesn't seem like it creates more problems from those side angle shots than I've ever saw in the last 20 years. What's been happening the last 5 to 7.
If he would have missed the goalie's head, it would have come up and probably hit the netting above me and come down and hit me because I was right in that corner shooting.
Oh, you got a great shot of it, huh?
Yeah, I had pretty good, decent video of it, so
that's cool.
It turned out pretty well. I didn't get the shot, but everyone's like, well, why is the goalie ducking his head? Well, it happened so quick. You see a puck coming at your face, you're naturally going to duck, and he just couldn't get his head out of the way in time and just banging in the net. So, but Paulson will take it, Viggs. Definitely he'll take it.
Yeah, I think Minnesota needs help at center. That's why Brody Lamb moved there. Paulson's a guy who, they expected to come in and perform. He's a high-scoring player for Dubuque in the USHL with Beckett Hendrickson. They went to the Clark Cup final together, and they could use him to find some traction, as Bob likes to say lately.
Now, as a former college hockey player, Cappy, what kind of balls would it have taken for you to try what Ziemer tried on Saturday night between the legs? Because I've always come to the feeling, wow, what a goal between the legs. Great. I'm always thinking, gosh, if I miss that, I have to go back to the bench. So as a former player, that is risky.
It's risky, but I'm assuming that he's done it a lot in practice. I mean, like these guys do this. They see it. Now that's not an irregular play kind of now. It's kind of like the Michigan. It's happened a bunch of times. You look like a fool if you what if if you trip over your own stick or something, right? So, extreme confidence for Ziemer to go for it. But honestly, these guys I was playing stick hockey with my nephew the other morning, and we weren't on the ice, but he was just doing it nonchalantly. He was 9, and he's not known for his stick handling. So it's like these kids now, they see videos or they, and then one kid's doing it in practice, they start doing it. Brody's probably done that a million times, right? So I'm thinking, as far as me, like that, nobody was trying that 20 years ago. Nobody. You never saw anyone try that in hockey. Now you're seeing it more. So guys are trying it more. They're practicing it in their breakaways in practice. So like he probably just felt like, but I got the right momentum. You're coming in that right angle for him as a right shot. he's like, what can go wrong here? I guess other than Bob getting really mad at me, and I'll get by with that.
Well, the funny thing is, we asked Brody about it today at availability, and he said, we kind of saw the scouting report on the goalie that he might, slide quick, and so that you could try something fancy like that because the goalie would get so aggressive on moves across the crease.
Yeah,
and so he just kind of had it. Yeah, so he just kind of had it in the back of his mind that, well, maybe I'll try that if we get in that situation.
And Viggs, a certain golfer did do it around 20 years ago. Kyle Oposo did that at Mankato State at the time. And he did retweet the video and with the old eyeballs like this.
That's great.
And he's like, yeah, I've been there and done that. So I thought that was cool that Kyle Oposo kind of gave him a little shout out.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be in the lore of Wisconsin, Minnesota for a long time. And I think that's why players like to play for these programs and play in these rivalry games. They get a moment to make a memory for everybody with that kind of stuff.
So it was a big weekend, Penn State to Michigan State, Cappy. Michigan State pretty much kind of, they swept them, 5 out of 6 points at Penn State. So I think Penn State got a little humbled after being a little cocky against the Badgers.
Right.
Outdoor game looked like a lot of fun to me. You guys had the Chicklets guys. You guys had the Chicklets guys and everything covering that. So
yeah,
it's a big deal for Big Ten.
Yeah, and I mean the crowd was great. You saw it. I think it was slow. I don't want to say slow arriving, but it slowly filled up. In the spots. Mm-hmm. And look, 75,000 people. That's a lot of people to watch a hockey game. And especially in that area. That school is out on an island. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful campus. It's a big campus, and obviously they have a lot of people around, but that's like a football crowd for what they did. And a lot of people come in from a lot of different areas of Pennsylvania for those football games. So that I think it had that feeling of that, the tailgate, it was a little cold for that, but the Big Ten's been doing a great job with these outdoor games. Wrigley last year, you had Ohio State, Michigan, and Cleveland a couple years back. I'm assuming it's going to keep happening. I want Minnesota to get involved in one. Like it's just been a while for them, and they look, say what whatever you want. They've been the carriers of the league since it became one. For the most part, yes. Mm-hmm. Is this not their best year? Of course not. But leading up to this year, they've been the top program in the country in the Big Ten for the duration of the years of it. So keep pumping them out. Outdoor games are great. I thought the scene was great. I thought the hockey was really good. Those are some really nice goals out there, and a lot of times you don't see those. So I think it all went well. You throw in the Chicklets guys here and there. It was funny that the what's his name Grinnell was out in the stands doing his little thing when McKenna scored his goal, and I actually think it was kind of fun. Like it just happened, and Dan didn't get to call it, but kind of organically just kind of worked. I thought, I didn't think it was that gimmicky to me. So I thought it was a long game, which you expect. I mean, it was over 3 hours and 20 minutes, but it had the football vibe to it. So you got a football length game.
And Michigan State's definitely happy to come away with 5 out of 6 points on the weekend.
And they took 10 out of 12 from Penn State. They have 4-0 with 2 overtime losses this year. So, Michigan State had Penn State's number this season.
Yeah, so that's good for Michigan State because they've been solid all year. But then Saturday night at a local establishment, Biggs, it looks like Mr. McKenna got in some trouble. Some charges brought against him for assault. It's sounding like somebody might have said something about his mother in person or something like that. That's the rumors. We don't know. Either way, he's in some legal issues right now.
Yeah, Penn State to State Penn, I believe, is the line that we're going with on McKenna.
Yeah, Penn State to State Penn. Yeah, that's
wow.
You have to think. You have to think that a player with as high a profile as Gavin McKenna would understand the microscope he's under. And I'm sure this is going to hurt him in his next spot. And whatever it is, you just have to understand that, it's a privilege to have the opportunity that he has. And regardless of what someone is saying to you, I imagine he's not all by himself. I imagine he's with his teammates.
Mhm.
So you think his teammates would maybe kind of pull him back as well. But this is just kind of behavior that you can't expect to get away with. And there's going to be some consequences for him that he's going to have to deal with regardless of the circumstances.
Thoughts, Cappy?
Yeah, I you don't know what's, full of the truth. Obviously the charges are the charges. You don't know what's actually happened. Some guy I saw was quoted saying he was there and watched as, McKenna was with his family is what
Yes.
some of the report, was saying. So, I don't know. Look, families, that's a tough one. I'm never, if certain things were said that were reported, it's really, that's a really tough situation. I know, of course he's got responsibilities and everything, but family's pretty important too. So look, I'm sure he would take it back right now in a second, but I guess you gotta, until we know everything, I don't, you can't really speculate. So you just, it's I guess this has happened at the best time for them being off this weekend, or maybe it isn't, because then it's going to be more focused. I don't know, or we'll see what the league will do. Will he get suspended? Maybe who knows? Or is it something that you wait till the legal things come out? I mean, there's a lot of questions with that, with all of this right now.
But that could take months too.
I think typically these schools do not act on anything until there's something official.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the league more than the.
Yeah, and I've seen the league kind of stay out of this kind of stuff. The schools have stayed out of these kind of situations and let the schools handle it themselves, because this is not an on the ice discipline type situation. When that's where the league, I think, would step in with a little more authority. And I think we've seen some cases in college hockey in the past where teams haven't been very quick to act on this kind of stuff.
Matthew Dietz' arraignment is February 11th.
That's
also Canadian and visa issues.
A week from today. Yeah, that's another thing. He's not an American, so that makes it a little bit of a thing too.
We don't know. We're just talking about it.
Sure. I mean,
we'll have to see what happens.
But. Look, we've never had a guy get the amount of attention he's gotten before ever to come into college hockey. Everyone knows with the NIL and the money and everything. Look, he was just. The Chicklets guys come in last week pretty much to do a show with him and obviously
cheering for Penn State the whole time.
Grow the game. Yeah, that was, look, I think they just were giving those guys time.
You can tell that.
Do your thing for those 3 minutes. They, as long as they kept it within PG-13, I think they were going to be happy with whatever they put out. But yeah, that's obviously what put it. I mean, look, ESPN's reporting on it. I mean, it's a big thing, and that's a quick turn. I guess arraignment's pretty kind of just not a matter of fact thing. It makes it official, right? Like it's not like there's going to be, a decision made or anything like that. But you're right; it's going to take months, probably after the season's over. I would think.
It could be something where he has a trial and he's already at some NHL camp or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it usually takes forever to do everything in the legal system.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of the season, I bet, for Penn State. And it's going to be a huge distraction for them.
Yes.
And we'll have to wait and see.
Interesting, to say the least. I mean, it just happened, folks. So we'll keep talking about it. We've got Tim Bruley on the show next week from USCHO.com. Maybe we'll have some news by then. Obviously, his site covers.
Yeah, it'll be right after the arraignment next week on the 11th. So
so that will be
there'll be something.
It will definitely be interesting. Well, before we move on here, we need to talk about one of our new sponsors, VX Cascade CBX Sport, and they've got a lot of cool stuff going on right now, don't they?
They sure do. We've got a special offer here. You can visit cascadecbxsport.com/team. And for a low price of $5 with free shipping, you can get a 300 milligram sample jar. And this sample jar retails for $25, but Cascade CBX is in startup mode. They're trying to build more believers. So they're betting on themselves and they want you to try it. So $5, free shipping. You know, I've been coaching all year. I've got some sore muscles. I've been putting this in on me. It's got a cooling menthol kind of feel to it, and you know, it's a miracle substance. It's safe. It's been tested, so it's NSF certified. It's free of 300 banned substances. It's the first choice of athletes to manage pain and reduce inflammation. Check it out, Cascade CBX Sport.
And actually, this is one of those things that you can get for $5 here, Vigs.
Heck of a deal. It's good for the aches and pains.
It totally is. I've been starting to use it on my knees, and it's been working pretty well myself. So I'll definitely vouch for that. All right, Vigs, we need to talk about your top 20. Give me just a second here to bring up the right screens. So much going on.
Well, not a lot going on at the top. You know, Michigan and Michigan State look really solid.
Oh gosh, yes.
They're going to be kind of right there, I think, all the way till the end. Wisconsin, you know, they're free fall. You know, they're dropping in my poll. They're dropping in the MPI. But challenging time for them.
Jeez, what happened to Cappy there? I muted him.
Thank you. A little technical difficulties there because he doesn't see Ohio State in the top 20.
I keep muting him.
It's all right. Penn State, you know, I dropped them just a little bit. It's kind of matching their MPI. You know, yeah. Michigan State's a tough team to play against, so it's hard to ding them too much. I swapped North Dakota and Western here in my top 5, and that kind of seems like a solidified group there. That top 5. Once you get past that, things are a little bit more volatile.
Especially Michigan down. I'm just kind of looking over your list here. St. Thomas down a little bit. St. Thomas had won a bunch of games in a row too, hadn't they?
Yeah, St. Thomas is playing pretty well. You know, they've moved past Augustana in the MPI. They've moved past me in the poll. Michigan Tech, you know, after their loss to Northern Michigan, they split again with UST. You know, they've dropped out of my top 20. Maine is another team that dropped out of my top 20. They lost in overtime to Providence, kind of gave away a game there. You know, we'll see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
The one thing I look at with my top 20 is that Dartmouth, Cornell, Quinnipiac, their strength of schedules are all terrible. You know, Quinnipiac's 49th, Cornell's 44, Dartmouth 54th.
Bringing up the MPI while you're talking there, so.
Yeah, it's just they have not played very challenging schedules. You know, you compare it to Denver, they're 8th in strength of schedule. Wisconsin, they're 7th. Minnesota, 1st. Heck, even Arizona State, they're 4th in strength of schedule. And so it's just a big disparity. I'll be interested to see if the ECAC teams can hang on here in the MPI and get in that large bid, because they kind of keep dropping down just a little bit here and there. As we saw with Michigan Tech, if you have a bad loss to somebody, you know, in the 40s or 50s of the MPI, it can really impact you.
Yep. Looks like Cappy's coming in on a second line here. What do we got going here? Look at this.
I don't know, man. Technical difficulties there. I just couldn't handle being around for Vigo's top 20.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
No Ohio State in there this time. So where are they in the MPI?
It's like October.
So where is Ohio State in there?
Apologize for that.
They're 34th.
Right the Gophers.
Look at that. And then he freezes up. You
got me here still?
We hear you. We don't see you anymore. Yeah, we can you hear us? Look at this. Oh, he's muting himself. Can you hear us? Here, I'll mute him because otherwise, there he
Maybe
goes.
he's got some different mics around. Probably. Maybe he's got his AirPods in his pocket. Who knows? You'd think by this part of the season we'd have these things ironed out.
By like his 18th show, he would have it figured out.
Thanks, Mote.
That made my day right there. Okay, wait. I see him. He's coming back. Look at that.
I don't know what's going on, fellas. I apologize for this ridiculousness. I don't know what's going on. Vigo disappeared off my screen on that last shot, so I don't know what's happening here.
I was just going to say, you've only done this, like, I want to say that's your 18th appearance.
And I have the same stuff. Maybe that's the problem. Is it getting too old to use? I don't know.
I doubt it.
Well, I've heard that about Ohio State's facilities is that they're aging and they don't quite fit the modern era. So
that's what. Well, I mean, the building they're in was built in 1998, so not exactly like, it's newer than Mariucci.
Not exactly built for hockey, though. Cappy is what I'm getting at.
I understand that. So no, I mean, on it. Okay, so no breaking news, but I have positive news that I was told, hidden sources, anonymous sources, that at any moment an announcement may be coming about the plans. Now, that could be I don't know when that could be, but I've never heard that before. You know what I mean? Like, there always be like the hope and all this stuff, but I've never heard that like an actual announcement could be made. Now, that could be happening this week or a month or whatever, but I've never heard that said from a very reputable source. So
wouldn't that be wonderful, Viggs?
That's all I got.
They need it.
On that.
They could use it. As we talk to players about playing Big Ten opponents, the Ohio State atmosphere is the one that always gets the worst reviews. Mm-hmm. And because that building is just very big, and the hockey fandom is maybe not as passionate as some other schools, it just makes it a challenging place to play. And I imagine it's a challenging place to play for at times. And the women's team, I mean, they deserve top-notch facilities with the job that program does year in and year out. They deserve a building where they can have a good crowd and a good atmosphere. And we've seen in college hockey, 4,000 to 6,000 seat building is perfect for men and women. That's a building where it can be a pretty good atmosphere for any game. And I think that's where a lot of schools should be moving to.
Yeah. Everything that I've heard of. And when we had an alumni Zoom I'd say maybe like this time of year, and the AD was on it. Ross Bjork was on this call about it. And the arena sound like it, and I would recommend this too, is make it almost identical to Notre Dame, where it's about low 4,000s, but with the catwalk above the stands there on a big crowd, a Big Ten championship or Michigan weekend where you have more than people than you have for seats, you can add maybe 500 to 1,000 more people in standing room up on that top shelf. So it enables you to get squeeze in more people for those really high profile games, but also keep it at a tight, where it's an important, hard to get ticket for a lot of at least the Big Ten season, especially the second half of the year. Because last weekend, per almost every year against Michigan, they had 10,000 people there, and the students were there. I mean, that winged helmet brings people in at Ohio State, no matter what the sport. So, I mean, it'd be huge. And I mean, the women's team and what Nadine Muzzerall is doing there, they had 13 skaters last weekend and swept Duluth with ease. They had 8 forwards and 5D because they had 6 or 7 or 8 players already left for the Olympics. So, I mean, the women's team alone should get a rink, but obviously for both, it's just a huge thing. If and when, hopefully that's announced any day. Hopefully, yes. If you're doing that, Jupe, imagine what I'm doing.
I completely get it. But I understand. You got a huge arena. If you were to fill that place every night, it would be great. But it's just It's just not something that's going to happen, at
No.
Ohio State at this point.
No. No, I
Um,
mean, and you want it more intimate, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Notre Dame is, when that place is rocking, like those first couple of years they were in the Big Ten, they had a couple Big Ten championship games there. I mean, that's the scene you want. I mean, Munn seats about what, 6,000 they get in there, and the Big Ten championship has been just amazing. Mariucci against Michigan a couple of years, obviously a little bigger, but you guys, I mean, you don't have any problem filling that up for those games. So I like the intimate feeling. It's college. It's not supposed to be a giant place. It's supposed to be an intimate, loud, the band pumping, the student section going. That's what you want. So hopefully, it gets done. But it's the closest I've ever heard the conversation. Let's put it that way. Nothing official, but it's as close as I've ever heard it to being official.
I'm really glad to hear that. So
yeah,
fingers crossed, definitely for you, Cappy, and for Ohio State, and maybe less the men than the women, because the women play in
a practice rink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's even more credit to Piggy. She's able to recruit what she recruits there. Obviously, there's a lot of things Ohio State brings to the table aside from practicing and playing on that ice. They do have great facilities to train in and all that, but you're not getting what Wisconsin and what Minnesota and what Penn State now even. I mean, that's amazing right now, right? In the women's game, is the top 4 teams are the Big Ten teams in women's hockey. Penn State has climbed their way up to being in the top 4. So, it'll be, something that you hope happens, and it'll be great for the school and for the Big Ten. I think it's just a better venue makes the league better too, right?
Oh, gosh.
It's all around wins all around for the league and for the school.
And like Cappy said, Viggs, it's the same thing for Notre Dame. Remember, Notre Dame played in a place where there was a large curtain dividing.
I loved playing at that place.
But you might have loved playing there, but
I had good games there. So I don't know if I don't know if I loved playing there, but I had good games there.
There's just a feel, the acoustics with the curtain. You just felt more artistic or something. But I do think the Big Ten is a place that does well in college hockey because they invest. I think when people have been transferring in the Big Ten, there have been Big Ten school to Big Ten school transfers because they're used to the lifestyle, the chartered flights, the nice hotels, the catered meals, the personal trainer like vibe that you get as an athlete at a Big Ten school and being on a big stage. When I look at the revenue and expense numbers across college hockey, all the Big Ten schools are in the top 12. No other conference has that.
You very rarely get to say, no, we don't have that if you ask for something at a Big Ten school. So if you came from, RPI or, Riley Thompson came from Alaska, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got it pretty nice as a college Division I athlete, but when you come to certain places, Big Ten and, the North Dakotas and all, and the BCs, you generally don't say, you ever hear it say, no, we don't have that.
Well, like I said, let's just keep the positivity going on that.
Let's go back to talking about the series.
No, totally. Before we do that, though,
okay.
We do have another sponsor to talk about, and Cub Foods, Viggs, definitely your place. And there's a certain game this weekend that people might want to get stocked up for the big game.
If you're getting ready for the big game this weekend, I highly recommend checking out Cub. They are one of us. They're based in Minnesota. They support Minnesota athletics. You see the Dickeytown athletes, the NIL stuff. Cub is involved. They're on PJ Flex headset. They sponsor our podcast. And right now, head on down to your local Cub, stock up for the game. I went down there this week. I got a bunch of chicken wings. They're going in my wet brine here tomorrow night. I'll get them ready for the game on Sunday, and they will be delicious. And I know if I need anything else to supplement my meal, I can go down to Cub, or I can check it out at cub.com. Shop happy, shop Cub.
All right. What's this brine you got going?
Yeah, so I got some salt, I got some brown sugar, I got some
Ooh.
garlic powder, I've got some Frank's Red Hot sauce in there, I've got some Tabasco in there, I've got some garlic cloves, I got a couple
Oh,
jalapenos in there, and you just let that sit overnight, like 12 hours. Then you take it out, you pat it down with paper towels, you put it on your sheet with the wire rim rack on top,
yeah.
you let it dry out in the fridge overnight. So it's a 2-day process. And then you bake it up. Well, first you got to get some cornstarch on there and some baking powder so it gets crispy skin. Coat that up, and then you cook it real quick in the oven for about 25, 40 minutes, and you're good to go. Toss in some hot sauce with some butter.
Oh man,
Magic.
Ooh.
I'm
When is
sweating
this-
just
when
thinking
are
about
these
it.
available?
Sunday after my kids' hockey game, which
Oh,
goes
nice. After
till
cold
kickoff of the Super
Sunday
Bowl.
skate,
Oh.
ready to warm up for the Super Bowl, huh?
Got to burn some calories. At least the kids
Nice.
do.
Well,
Yeah, nice.
Viggs had a skate last Saturday night. It was at 9:15. Viggs, one of your own games.
Yeah, I had a kids game in the morning, kids game in the afternoon, Gopher game at night, and then I headed over to New Hope Ice Arena for a little skate with a men's group that I've been playing with a little bit as a sub. One point on the power play with that group, and a big shutout win for us. So it was a good time.
Oh.
I have a good question with a late skate. So your game ends what, about 10, 20, 30? You hang out a little bit with the guys. When do you actually get tired? Because like I played those late games and you're tired, but you can't fall asleep.
No, you need
like
that.
your
You
body's
need that.
tired, but like
Yep.
you fully can't. Like what
You need
time
that
did you
cool down
finally fall
period.
asleep on Saturday?
Yeah, I call it tired but wired.
Right.
I
right.
fell asleep about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
It's not so bad. I had a little Cascade CBX Sport on the sore muscles and just calm down eventually. So
Nice.
You're getting good at this, Biggs. You're getting really good at this. You're gonna get a contract, do some commercials on TV sometime soon. I think.
I know
love
you're
it.
the you're the TV superstar here.
That's why I'm saying I'm hearing this, and I'm like, this Biggs is starting to kind of get smooth and do all the TV type of stuff.
Well, you'll get a lot of TV time once you're the commissioner of college hockey, right, Viggs?
Yeah, someday when we get the home
mean,
sites for the regionals and all that, so it'll be
it's
great.
It's sorely needed. I honestly, I nominated. We were talking about it was Fred Pletch in all seriousness too, like because he's got a little experience in it. He ran the CCHA the last couple of years before the CCHA ended, and obviously the Big Ten was created. But I think it's needed, and I mean it's needed in a lot of things like that. The whole NIL thing with football and all that, but I think college hockey, in the Big Ten, we kind of have a commissioner, but it's not a full-time gig. So, it would be nice. Yeah. That's sad about the on-campus site thing, because it kind of lost all its steam, to be honest, like sadly. And, David Carl was such a great leader of that. Like who else would you want to be leading the way on that? And I'm not saying it's dead forever, but obviously it's just kind of lost a ton of steam lately.
Well, losing steam because they have to do.
But they're not deciding it. Right.
Yeah, they have to do renewals. I mean, we know what the next couple Frozen Fours are, but there's another renewal coming up here, Viggs.
With regional sites, right?
And regional sites. That's all
Frozen
coming up.
Fours are going to always happen. That part's not changing.
Yeah, no. But they still, right now, we've got the next 2 years planned out.
Right.
But then what do you do after that? Then that's where we need to keep Mr. Carl in the discussion, don't we, Viggs?
We sure do. And I would happily work for Fred Pletch if he was the commissioner and I could, kind of learn the ropes a little bit. I could be deputy. Yep. I could do his social. We could do social media.
Where do we do like where do we get like the election, the campaign going? How do we get that? Jupe, I think you got to be the leader of that. You're the social media king.
I've got enough going on here.
We got to get John King's new company, Best on Best.
There you go.
Do some PR. Jake Ricker, I know he's working with them. So I talked to Fred the other day when he was in town for for the Michigan game, and we're talking
with him. He just has he's been in hockey for so long. He knows so many people. He has a ton of great relationships which is a huge part of that. And like I said, he has experience too. Like a lot of people say they could do it, but they don't have any actual experience in it. You don't know you have an idea of what you think is going on, but you don't know it, like, except for being in the role. So I think that is a thing that actually would help him too. But yeah, it would be great. It just brings some conformity to things and a final say to things, I think, which would help. And, the whole, on campus thing. We were talking, I talk about it with guys in the locker room at men's league skates, and they, everybody wants to see that.
Well, not everybody, Viggs.
Well, yes. Everybody that's not, I don't even know who doesn't. I mean, to be honest, who are the actual, I don't know.
I think Bob's won.
Does he still? I mean,
Bob doesn't want to stick out his neck on this because he'll get blamed for it either way. And
exactly.
He's wise enough to know I'm not going to go wrestle in the mud on this issue, because whatever I say, I'm going to get people that will just say the opposite. Totally. He doesn't mind Fargo and Sioux Falls. That's fine.
Sure.
He wishes there were better solutions, but he's not going to waste his capital on this debate.
I really thought we'd get some questioning last year with Penn State as the 4 seed, Maine coming in as a 1 seed. They had to go to basically a home game for Penn State.
And well, I mean, so that's going to be similar this year with, North Dakota obviously is going to be in Sioux Falls. Denver is where we're looking at right now. They could be a 3, but what if they end up being a 4 seed? And then you're going to have
Michigan.
So what are they going to do? Are you going to put Michigan or Michigan State out there if your number 1 or overall seed going to play pretty much a road game? I was in Loveland 3 years ago, and Denver was the number 1 seed, but the barn was sold out for their 2 games. It was a complete home game. It was a great atmosphere. It was exactly like Allentown for Penn State. But are you going to put Penn State or Maine was not the number 1 overall seed?
They were not. They were number 3.
Or the 2. They were 3 or 4, right?
They were 3.
3. Okay. That'll be very interesting to see how that shakes down. Because now we'll see. Denver, I don't think will end up as a 4. They're probably going to be a 2 or a 3.
But it's still home.
Oh, no. It's happening. And what if Penn State is the 4th? Right now, it's hairline between them and Western Michigan. So obviously, one of those teams is going to have to play, Denver on home ice, or whatever you want to call it.
I am thinking they would try to keep Penn State in the East, but because they're the furthest,
then you're probably
east.
Getting Michigan State out there, and you know what? Night though that team, they're like David Carl. Look, David Carl went out to Worcester last year or whichever place, and they came out of it. They had to play the first game. They were the early game. They played would have been like noon Mountain Time. And they
took out BC.
They didn't complain. They won, and they won.
Yep.
So Michigan State seems like a team that's like that too. Like, we'll play wherever we have to play, but it's still a thing. The East one's it's Albany, and is it Worcester this year? I know Albany's one of them, which is
a second here.
Is a dicey one as always. I don't think anyone really gets a home ice advantage in Albany, so I could see that being where Michigan goes. Honestly, if it stays this way, obviously, I mean, if Michigan State sweeps this series this weekend, they might move up to number 1.
It's Albany and Worcester.
Yeah, I mean, so Worcester maybe BC could be the 13 seed, and they're a 4 seed, and they're getting a bit of a home cooking maybe there. It is what it is. I mean, you got to go and play, and you got to go win. So it's the way it is for the next 2 years at least.
Yeah,
I just want to really go to Las Vegas this year. So
you just want at least one Big Ten team to make it, don't you?
Well, that might not matter this year, to be honest. So we'll see. It's not official yet. Still waiting for the official. It's been a verbally acknowledged or whatever that possibly I could be working with ESPN for both regional and for the Frozen Four, but
big TV superstar.
We'll see. Yeah, right. for 2 weeks. No, but going back to that game that was on in October, they added that Michigan State ESPN game, and it was one of the best games viewership wise they've had. So I just, it's tough for them, I guess, to find. I wish they could find more spots for college hockey. And, the Big Ten obviously can't do any games unless they're the, road team to some of those others. But, I'm all about growing the game. I want Peacock to add more games. I'd love for them to do more. Hey, Friday, 2 weeks ago, FS1 added this game this Friday night, Michigan and Michigan State. This was just added because of the growth and the popularity there, and they know it's going to bring a lot of viewership. That game Friday night was not a TV game, is now on FS1 tomorrow on Friday night. That's a win for the league, and I think it's going to get a ton of people, especially in the Mitten State. So I'm all for getting more and more on TV, more viewership, grow the game, get it where you can.
And Viggs, it's a big weekend in women's as well. 1-2 in men, 1-2 in women. It's a huge weekend.
Yeah.
And then we got the Olympics coming up. It's a great time to
That
go to the
starts
game.
tomorrow. U.S. play tomorrow.
Tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. 10.
Isn't this the best time? People are complaining now. I'm like, dude, I'm going to get up at 10 o'clock and watch hockey.
And I think Voster's is going to be calling some of those games too.
Is he doing women too, or is he just doing the men? I think he's the second with the men. I'm not sure exactly if he's doing any of the women.
But Voster's will be on.
He might
be cool.
But yeah, that's great.
They're all calling it. They're calling it from a studio, but they're not there. But Voster's
is that true? I thought they were going. They're not going.
He mentioned it in one of his tweets that they're not actually there.
I thought he was. I thought they would go.
And I think he did that too in the summer when he was doing the kayak stuff. I think he was.
Now that I remember, because there's so many sports going on there, especially in the summer. That makes sense. I thought maybe the winter is a little more, and hockey's one of the.
Yeah, but COVID.
So you're telling me Kenny Albert's not going to be there?
We'll see. I don't know about that. I
think he's just maybe his. I don't know. You saw whatever he wrote. That would be.
You text more than anyone knows. Why don't you just text him
and find out? I might do that right now.
Yeah, do that right now. Send him a link. We'll have him come on.
I'm on the phone with you guys right now. I can't use my phone. My iPad messed up. So
I'm surprised we didn't get a gear reveal.
Maybe in the post game show, I'll do a live text. Well, my phone, but it's just, I think the sport's in a great spot. You're doing outdoor games. I just hope it continues to grow. Like I said, the Big Ten, they signed that deal with NBC. If Big Ten Network's not covering some of these games, like a Minnesota Michigan game's not on national TV, I know it'll be on locally in Minnesota, but heck, I think it'd get a pretty good crowd on a Friday, Saturday night in February. Yeah. Michigan, Minnesota on NBCSN or on Peacock.
Well, I think one of them. But I actually think they are.
What's that?
When Minnesota goes to Michigan,
it's on Big Ten, but that's not on anything else.
Actually,
I don't. Both games might be on Big Ten, but it wouldn't be on any other network other than that or FS1.
Yeah, they're on Big Ten. Yeah, both on Big Ten.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, but Big Ten's got a ton of sports. They can't cover all the, especially conference games.
And at Michigan also is a Thursday, Friday series as well.
Yeah. I think that, that's 2 weeks from now. Because we have there's
3 weeks.
Thursday, Friday, and then I have Friday, Saturday, and the Friday is a double header with Penn State, Ohio State. That's the only other two games I'm calling the rest of the year.
Michigan, Minnesota's end of February, 26th and 27th. So
okay, well that's because Thursday, Friday, because every series is Thursday, Friday.
Yep. Because of the Wednesday following.
Or no, because the next weekend is Thursday, Friday too. Because it's the last weekend of the series, and then I think that's something. And I guess I don't know if you guys are going to bring this up, but if Minnesota here, is starting to peak at the right time at the end of the year, the way the playoffs are set up now, it makes it a lot more realistic for a 4, 5, 6 seed to make a final and maybe win the league when you only got to play 3 games to do it.
And Viggs, they're only 2 points behind Wisconsin after that weekend.
Yeah, and I have to say Minnesota's looking a lot better than Wisconsin right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
The key for Minnesota is as they get into Ohio State here this weekend, they have to have a good weekend. This is really important for them if they want to get a home ice game in the Big Ten and get off to a good start. they have to win these games. And, they got 4 of the 6 points in the last series. They almost got all 6. They kind of let up on the gas a little bit, and Ohio State took advantage. Minnesota needs to have a more consistent weekend. I'm waiting to see if that energy that we saw against Wisconsin can carry over into a game that's probably going to be a little bit more structured and not as high pace, and the chances won't come as easily. I think that's going to be a huge challenge for this young Gopher team.
What are your thoughts, Cappy?
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State actually played really well this last weekend, but they used the home juices that they did have, and I mean, look, they had the lead going into they tied. It was a late tie, 4-4 going into the third period on Friday, and then they go to overtime and lose Saturday against the number 1 team in the country. The goaltending has been, not. Has probably been their weakest link in terms of expectations. Christopher Eberle has just been okay, and now he's not playing as much. The young guy, Hillenbrand, has played more. But he plays a good game, but he's not going to steal you a game. At least he hasn't. I think Minnesota's just got to, if they keep their confidence going, but not get too confident and just think, okay, we can come out here and play, like you said, like kind of like a rat hockey game, like freewheeling. You're going to have to play with the discipline because Ohio State still brings that D structure. But if they can use their speed and Mooney and those guys, and then the power play, because Ohio State's penalty kills not as been good as it's been in the past years. Minnesota can ride that momentum. But, Ohio State will bring their effort. They always bring their effort. I just lacking on offense to get a ton of scoring, and then the goaltending has just not been where you want it. I'm sure for Steve Rollick when he came into this year having Christopher Eberle, a junior that has had a lot of games. And, it's not all his fault. It's a team game when you're giving up, the goals, but it's set up for Minnesota right now if they can kind of ride their wave of, confidence from last weekend, another home series.
For me, similar to what you said, Viggs, they need to show the consistency. We've seen this a lot this season, up one game, completely opposite the other game. So like you just said, kind of interesting to see how they do. If we could see some consistent move up as, they build hopefully for a playoff run. I've run some of the numbers. Even if they were to win the rest of their games, just throwing those in, they're still only about 18, 16 in the NPI. So obviously it could change. We'd have to see based on other results, but just winning them all isn't going to do them any good. But if they get better, that's where, like what Cappy says, Viggs, it's a 1-game thing. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, the playoff format suits Minnesota really well. They've got good goaltending, good power play. They just need a little bit more consistently from their depth. I thought John Whipple had a good weekend. I thought Leo Gruba had a good weekend. They need Jacob Rombach to get back on the horse too. He had a really good finish the first half. The break hurt him a little bit. He came back, didn't play his best. He's going to get an opportunity in this game where there's maybe a little bit more structure to it to have some time and space to make some plays and find his game again. I think it's a really important weekend for him.
What are your picks then, Viggs?
6 points, Gophers. They look good right now. They look good. That's the best I've seen Minnesota play over a weekend, probably since Faber-Lacombe were running the show.
Those are big words there. Cappy?
It's tough. I want to give my Buckeyes a point. I just don't know. I think Minnesota's going to get both. I think maybe a close 2-1 game or a 1 goal. Maybe get it. I don't know if they got it. They're not getting the goaltending on the road where I can trust them right now to go win against a team now It's changes fast, right? I mean, they just came off 7-game losing streak, and now they're the hottest team in the league, right? Or whatever.
Well,
I mean, but the way you win, it's how you win too.
it's
not
how
like
you
they
win.
eked them out, right?
It's how they won, and then you look at the week before, they lost 3-1 and 3-2 at Michigan State.
Sure.
Didn't play terrible.
No, tough schedule.
Yeah, tough schedule. Big Ten's good this year.
I said I'm
lighter weeks
for Minnesota.
Lighter weeks coming up. So
right.
Really Vigs. Oh, I'm going to pick sweep as well.
Well, because they're at Notre Dame after that.
Yeah,
correct?
really. It's 12 points or bust, isn't it, Vigs?
It certainly feels like that. I didn't think Minnesota played very well in the first game against Michigan, but other than that, I felt like they've played pretty well so far in 2026, and that's just a good sign with a young team to go through that and then have a weekend like they did against Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, right. They're almost – it's like the playoff, except for who's number 1 and 2, 3 through 7. Like Ohio State, Notre Dame are 6-7. I don't know I don't think that's almost possible to change.
Well, they still have a couple of games
5,
in hand.
What's that?
Well, both Notre Dame and Ohio State have played 2 less games than everyone else.
Right, but
that'll start leveling out each week.
Notre Dame is 7. Are we
correct?
Pretty close to, and Ohio State I think is 6. I think now you're talking Wisconsin and Minnesota are fighting for home ice in that 4 or 5 game, and then it's a matter of who is 2 and 3 to play against 6 and 7.
And who knows how Penn State's going to handle the microscope here?
Sure,
with McKenna getting,
but there aren't
trouble,
that many games left.
Right.
No, I mean that could go any which way. That could galvanize them, or it could, split them. I don't think it's gonna. They have Ohio
He's
State
gonna
at
be
home coming up
playing
in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
he's most likely going to be playing. I would assume, unless just like you talked about precedent of other sports and other incidences. Yeah. I'd find it hard to believe that he won't. But it looks, the league is kind of, and it's got its little tiers right now. It could change. There's a month of hockey and 10 games or so, but it's just this league looks in tiers pretty. Yes. There's like a 3-2-2 tier right now to an extent, or and different levels in those tiers, and we'll see how it shakes out. This is a great month, like tons of games on TV. Tons of game, important month. February is the, when things get decided. Now, I guess March too, because we have a weekend in March of regular season. But this is when hockey now is getting its time. Football's over. It's where you make your money now this time of year.
All right. I think I'm ready for overtime. You guys ready for overtime?
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. I'm with you guys. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the GPL podcast. Of course, we thank Cappy for coming on the show. He's always here with us multiple times a season. We've got Tim Bruley from USCHO, the creator and president of that site, coming up next week. I just looked it up. He has not been on since season 1 of the GPL podcast. Wow. So it'll be fun to have Tim back on the show. For those of you watching live here on X, Facebook, and YouTube, stay tuned for overtime. For the rest of you, we'll catch you next week on the GPL podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and get notified each time we go live or post a video. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate our show and leave a review. For those of you watching live, you know what's next. It's Vigo's Beverage of the Week. It's time for overtime.
Big win for the Gophers means a big IPA for overtime tonight. This is a size 11 triple IPA from Steel Toe Brewing. Yeah, 11% IPA. Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers.
Light colored.
Yeah,
it's
light colored.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Well, when these beers come out, I enjoy them quite a bit. So
Hey, you like what you
gotta
like,
get
man.
them. Like what you like.
Now, do you
Yeah.
go to the same place generally for when you're picking your
I've got like 2 spots I go to most of the
stores?
time. I've got one that's really close to me, and then one that's got a little bit more of a bourbon selection.
Oh, right.
One in Kentucky.
So, because I told you I went down to Buffalo Trace this last year and got to pick out 2 barrels of Stag and some Russells.
An Eagle. What's the Eagle stuff you gave me?
I gave you an Eagle Rare from Buffalo Trace.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good,
Yeah,
good 10-year bourbon.
Variety of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
My drinking has gone down so much now. If I have one of those, I'd probably get a hangover. I just don't drink at all anymore. Or not at all, but it's
Well, whiskey's pretty good because you just have a little glass of water before you
no,
go to bed.
yeah, it's a little, yeah, for sure. I mean,
And then you're usually pretty good. It's when you go too far and mix it with maybe a glass of wine or something like that too.
Sure. No, honestly, it's like I just don't. I like if you could tell me I could have 2 nice drinks and guarantee I'm not going to feel it tomorrow, I'm in. I just want to feel good the next day.
That's old age for you. It's just
thanks. Yeah, thanks. Right. I mean,
dude, I'm 53.
Nice.
So I'm an old man.
I'm 46.
I just became a grandpa for the second time a couple weeks ago. So
we got to get you some of this, Cappy.
I mean, dude, send me some because I don't know if I'm getting to Minneapolis, St. Paul this year.
Well, there's a cool website you can go to.
I know, but see, when I come there, there to
shipping.
work games, you guys will like show up in the booth and like hand me stuff.
Usually we do.
Yeah, I mean, I got nice, hats and shirts in the past.
When you ever going to come work here, though? That's kind of a climber thing.
Dude,
got this territory.
And I'm banned from the state of Michigan apparently too.
Well, yeah, we'll just say it. There's territories here. You kind of got Ben and Pletch. You kind of cover Michigan. You've got Dan Kelly and Clymer, who kind of cover Minnesota, Wisconsin, and a couple other areas.
Last year I had a couple Wisconsin games. I don't know if I cover Chicago. That's what, and then I cover Penn State because I can get a direct flight from Chicago on United, which is really nice. Although last 2 weeks ago I was 7 hours of delays on my 2 flights.
Oh,
one was not one, it was half my flight back from Happy Valley. So the 6:30 flight, I'm home at 8 a.m. like Sunday morning, like do the game Saturday night, boom, bed. You're home at 8 a.m. Like you're in the airport heading home at 8 a.m. I check the flight when I wake up at 5, whatever, and it says delayed to 9:03. I'm like, well, at least I know here and I can go back to sleep for a couple hours. I do that. I get on this airport's very small. It's a 9:03 flight. I'm getting there at about 8:20. Rental car right there. Boom, you're in. And you get to where you enter the airport and there's a police barricade. They're not letting cars into the airport.
The big blizzard.
Entrance. And they wouldn't give any information. So veteran move that I made is that I kept my room key. And so I drove back to the hotel and the guy said they didn't know if it would be open in 20 minutes, 2 hours, 4 days. So I go back to my hotel. I call United. They didn't even know what was going on yet. So I kept refreshing. I'm just sitting in my hotel, watching TV, hanging out. It's about a 10-minute drive to the airport. And I just keep scrolling. It finally says 11 o'clock and it says 11 and 11. So at about 10:05, I hop back in the car, get to the airport. The airport is open. I'm driving in and I see people walking out to the plane because this airport's small. They don't have, you got to walk out of the doors and out and up onto the plane. And I'm like, oh, I think that's my plane boarding right now. So I dropped my car off, hustle in. There's nobody in the security line. Get through security in a couple minutes. Get to where you scan your ticket. The guy, I said, is this flight for Chicago? He's like, well, what number? I said, well, X number. And he's like, no, that's not your flight. And I look around and there's about 20 people sitting there because that's all that's on the flight is about 20 some people. And they all kind of like smirk and laugh at me and shake their heads. And he says, oh, they're like, yeah, that's the flight that's supposed to be leaving at 11 a.m. They're leaving on time while us in our 6:30 flight waits to go after them. And I was sitting there with this lady, I'm like, you know why they did this, right? Because they don't want 2 delayed flights.
Yeah.
It's all about statistics.
One's on time.
Yes. So the flight that was supposed to leave at 11 left before the 6:30 a.m. flight. That was 4.5 hours delayed or whatever the time is on that. So
It's
it's exciting morning. And so get this though, I found out why the airport was shut down. Some guy that was all high, cracked up on something at 3 or 4 in the morning was in there waving a knife around, threatening people, was out of his gourd, was hiding behind the rental car desk, threatening the world or whatever.
Jeez.
And so this story came out on like, the State College Gazette or something. And Dan Kelly, funny, who was not leaving from State College, sent me the link from the story of reasons why my flight was double delayed. So long story short of that, I think I got like $100 voucher on United.
Happy Valley, dangerous place.
I'm hoping in 2 weeks when I go back on the 19th through the 22nd that it's because it's really an easy, getting out of United and O'Hare is a little busy, but it's generally not too bad. But getting in and out of that airport because it's so small is and you're 10 minutes from campus and your hotel and around the campus. It's a really easy trip if there aren't any plane delays.
I'm hoping to get on the Minnesota flight sometime, Viggs. We should do that.
Ooh, to Happy, but you got to get to.
You leave like right after the game, and you're back, but you just got to pay. You just got to pay for the tickets.
That would be the best way to get there, I think.
To get to Pagula, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd probably catch a United flight from Minneapolis to Chicago to.
Yeah,
which isn't bad. The flight you're about an hour 10 from Chicago to State College, and what's Chicago, a 50 to an hour?
Yeah, it's usually under an hour.
Yeah, so
once you get in the air, it's like you're up, you're down.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be the worst travel if you were going to go that route. I believe United's the only one that does a direct Chicago to State College.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you can hop on the Sun Country plane,
because that's what the team would do. Because we definitely know they do that. They go straight to State College.
Oh, of course, yeah. They don't. Yeah, no, none of the teams do any of that other stuff. Yeah. But
if
you were going to have to do it on your own to go there catch a weekend,
there's usually one flight a year that they have to fly commercial for whatever reason.
Really?
Costs.
And it was Denver.
And it was Denver, and their flight got delayed.
Oh, the one.
Yeah.
What happened?
They got stuck there until Sunday night.
Yeah.
After the Friday game.
Weather in Denver?
Yep.
No, mechanical.
Or plane issue.
Mechanical, yeah.
Plane issue.
Like the crew timed out and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's why my flight was delayed. The delay in the morning was because the crew got in late and they needed you can't go back on for a certain amount of hours. So that's why the flight was originally delayed. And that's why I got a voucher. They're not giving you a voucher because the airport was closed. They're not going to take responsibility for that.
The act of God. That's an act of God,
active, chemical imbalance or whatever it was. But I mean, I'm lucky that I wasn't there. I mean, it was doing this, they said at 3-4 a.m. and I would have been there at 5:30, 5:45. So, I'm glad nothing happened. Nobody was hurt as far as I remember too from the report they had. So
yikes.
Yeah. Now I'll be a little more, I'll have my head on a swivel when I'm going to pick up my rental car when I land there in 2 weeks, just because I know what happened here now a couple weeks ago or a month ago. So
Is it too soon to make a Gavin McKenna joke about the airport?
Let's just go. We've already did the Penn State to State Penn. I mean,
look, man, if the report's true and he was with his parents and his mom and that someone said that, called my mom that, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it would be really hard not to. And look, he comes from a really small town up in the middle of nowhere. I'm assuming pretty tight with his family. They come to all his games. Heck, Friday night when he got kicked out of the game, I don't know if you guys saw this. They showed it. He got dressed, and in the third period was sitting in the stands with his parents watching the game. You just don't see that like that. Look,
that's true.
We don't know what happened, but if what they said happened, I'm not putting it all. I mean, yes, you can't. You pay the consequences, but I don't know how many guys would sit there and just say, "Oh, okay, call my mom that," and be okay with it. It's tough.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. I know. Just like Jason Kelsey said, some guys need to get punched in the mouth. Try not to break their jaw when you hit them.
Yeah. Just hit them just the right amount, or hit them in the nose. Break the nose instead.
Like an anchor man. Don't hit him in the face.
I wonder if it's something where this guy would maybe take a money payment or something.
Yeah.
If that could happen.
He's got $700,000. Yeah.
700,000.
Well, I didn't see, obviously, I don't know.
Money talk.
Well, I'm saying take it like, okay, I'll drop the charges if you blah, 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 whatever. I don't know.
Split your NIL money with me.
Did you guys happen to see the stadium series in Tampa this weekend?
I saw bits and pieces.
They called it the best outdoor game they'd ever seen. Obviously, Tampa came back from down 5-1 in that game, tied it.
Got handed a bunch of power plays.
Had a bunch of power plays, won it in overtime. Jake Gensel wins it for Tampa, and Casey Middlestead took a penalty or a shootout shot for Boston. Goalie fight. It was very entertaining, and I'm talking with my siblings because two of them one of them lives in Tampa, Palm
and
Harbor.
It was 40 degrees.
It was 40 degrees, and they're like, "Well, her husband was going to go," and he was like, "Yeah, he didn't want to sit there in under 40 degrees; it'd be too cold for him." I'm like, "Going, are you
dude? That's paradise.
That's perfect."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think it got down to like 38 or something, towards the end of the game. But I'm like, that's perfect outdoor
great
weather.
Outdoor hockey game.
At night. So I gave him a bunch of crap for that, but geez.
Have hot chocolate with a little,
That's unprecedented weather down there.
In there with it,
How cold was it at your spot? You like to stay? Was it 45, 40 there
in Sarasota?
Yeah.
About the same as Tampa. It's about an hour south of Tampa, so maybe you get about 3 or 4 more degrees. Honestly, was thinking about going there last week because I was supposed to originally. Not that this is like a big. Originally, the plan for the outdoor game at Penn State was the women play and then the men play in the same day, and it's a doubleheader. But because of the construction going on, I don't know if you guys noticed, the one side, the upper deck is gone right now.
Yeah, I did see that.
So the lights are gone, and so there was an argument, or someone didn't want it. The lights were an issue, and so they had to be paid for some way, and I don't think either side wanted to do it. So instead of playing both games same day, it was going to be a doubleheader on Big Ten Network, both teams or both games. We would have done studio support, all that. That got canceled because the lights became too expensive or whatever to do that, and so they had to play the women played on Friday afternoon, right? I think the day before, and then the men played during the day. So they had just single games.
Yeah, and that's where it was problematic because of the sun and everything.
Yeah, I think and they had a ton of sunlight, didn't they, in the game? It was kind of in and out.
It was overcast at times, but it's enough to cause issues. Sunlight's bad no matter what the temperature being.
Yeah, because of the lines on the ice, it just doesn't work out very well. But
so that got changed somewhere before this. Originally it was supposed to be like a 1 o'clock women's game and then like a 5:30 Eastern men's start, and then it got switched when they couldn't, figure out a light situation and needed both games to be in full daylight. So I thought about going to Florida, and then I saw the weather, and I'm like, nah. Like if it's not 70, I'm going to be doing the same stuff I'm doing here. I'm going to be inside, looking out, free.
Yeah.
So why waste the time and money to go down? So I'm like, I'll save it for the next time down the road. So
the thing is, somebody like you would still, if it's 40 degrees, you'd still be out there in your shorts because you're used to it.
40? No. Plus
on.
the heater, it's spotty down here, or down there.
Boy.
Like but it's a serious thing when it doesn't work, when it's not being used. And it also smells because it gets all that, the dust and the
dust. The first time you kick on the furnace.
Yeah. So I did seriously around Christmas 5 years ago during COVID. I was down there and it got cold. Like it was in the 40s overnight. Our heater was not working. It got down to like 60 degrees in the condo. I'm like, I am here in Florida freezing my ass off in my condo. I had to turn the damn oven on to get heat. So I'm like, what am I doing here? So it's not worth the travel. If I can't be out at the beach or at the pool
or the golf course,
what's the point? I might as well be, freezing my butt off here. And we were freezing our butt off. I'm sure just like you guys were. We had 10 days, right? Where it was just just
stay inside. Stay inside.
No, I did. I did.
The outdoor ice is really good though right now. We're getting some nice weather this week here.
Have you been out across the street lately, Viggs?
A couple times, yeah. It's been a good year for outdoor hockey in Minnesota finally. So
did you guys see some of those videos? Those guys skating on their streets in Texas. That was pretty cool. Like you just don't see that. You're in Texas and their street is frozen because they have no structure,
no plows,
put salt down or anything. So it's just an ice bowl.
And then it rains and then it snows on top. Yeah, it's just
I drove to South Bend a couple weeks ago. Ohio State was there.
Yeah.
So I try to go if I'm not working. And I leave Chicago and it was the coldest day. It was here. It got down to minus 35 wind chill, but it was sunny. And, Notre Dame's about an hour and a half drive. You go around the little belt of Indiana. And I'm like, oh, this, it's cold, but I'll, easy drive, get there, watch the game, hang out for a while, see, some people. And I get about halfway there and all of a sudden the sun is gone and it's gray and it's not really snowing, but it had snowed and it's blowing on the highway. And it's, free, anything like
freezing
that on the highway. I felt like I was on skates. I'm like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And it took me an extra half hour to 40 minutes because I was going about 42 miles an hour with my flashers on in the right lane. I'm getting blown by semis. I don't know what they're thinking. I saw at least 8 cars, no joke, either flipped or in ditches.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm already too far in. I'm like, I got to keep going. And luckily I made it. And then I, drove it back. But I could not believe what that drive turned into after how it started. I was like, it was such I was like, I'd never been so 2 and 10 on my car going 42 mile an hour. Like, please don't hit me. I'm seeing trucks and I'm like, please don't hit me. That was a while. I was so scared for my life that night.
I had a situation. I went and visited my grandmother in Arkansas back in I must have been the 90s. Arkansas. But I arrived and it was an ice storm. It was literally, it had been cold. So everything's, but then, so it starts raining and then just everything is just covered in just glare ice. And where they live, it's just roads like this.
Oh my God.
And that was just like, and we're in her big ass Buick too. I mean, one of those big ones, like the Sabres from back in the day. It was, I ended up just we got to the house. We had to stay there and
Stay.
couldn't do anything because
Yeah.
you go outside, the plants and the bushes and everything just got the coating of ice over everything.
Just gotta wait.
And there's nothing they can
Dangerous
do about it.
driving that, man. So dangerous.
Yeah. Viggs, what's this Nicholas Johnson asking about Les Bolstad? Probably.
Yeah, the pro staff at Les Bolstad has been non-renewed. I know 2 of them have found jobs at other courses. The superintendent is still on staff, but they are still moving ahead with their intent to dispose of the property, which is a shame. It's a golf course that's been in operation since 1929, one of the historic courses in the Twin Cities. And, golf is a pretty good industry right now. I know the Keller Men's Club is full. The Highland National Men's Club is full. There's a lot of golfers out there. The course has made money the last 5 years since COVID. Just a curious decision by President Cunningham and not a lot of transparency yet. So hopefully I can find out some more info this week.
I don't golf. The last time I golfed was a Rubes golf game, probably 15 years ago. And so my last golf game was at Les Bolstad.
Was that the day I birdied 18 on camera?
I believe it is.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my last golf game was at that course all those years ago. And yes, we did get that on video.
Yep. Yeah, I played a lot of rounds there this year. It's a special place to me as I'm the outgoing president of the golf club there. So I don't know. Doesn't sound likely it's going to reopen, but I don't know. You never know. Never know what the U of M, what's going to happen. So,
well, look at all the switches downtown. I mean, all the, the restaurants that have gone by for apartments that are super expensive for kids to live in Dinkytown and whatnot. It's all about real estate down there, and that's a big piece of real estate.
Viggs, I have a question. Do you guys want to keep talking about that?
No. Somebody was asking about
a little silence.
Yeah.
No, but I have a serious question about Minnesota, Bob, recruiting. What have you asked him about his philosophies as the world is changing before our eyes about recruiting? And are they in the CHL? Are they in wherever? What is he saying about recruiting?
What he's saying is that we've got guys in the CHL, but they're guys that are from Minnesota or the U.S. who have gone there. So the guys like Kwasnicka, he's at Penticton. Connor Casey's at Medicine Hat, but those are local guys.
Right. Connor Casey I saw last year. He's phenomenal.
And then he's got Levi Harper, who set a rookie scoring record for a defenseman in the OHL with Saginaw coming. So these are Americans who are going to the CHL to play.
Right. They instead of going back to the USHL or whatever, they've gone up there for their next year.
Yep. And I'm not sure
how guys not recruited from the CHL.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how Casey got to Medicine Hat, but I do know that Penticton and Kwasnicka were kind of matched up as that's a good coaching staff for you. That's a good development path for you. That's a good spot. Harper, same thing with Saginaw. Saginaw is a very progressive coaching team with a lot of development emphasis, a lot of, interchangeability, a lot of D getting involved in the offense. Good match for Harper to go there and develop. So it's been kind of that. So I think what you're going to see with Motzko is that they're going to have relationships with a couple CHL franchises, and that could be where guys go to play. But I don't see them going into the CHL very much and pulling guys out of there. I think they're still worried about how these guys fit in at college.
Right.
Are they going to stick around for 3 years, or are they 1 and 2 and dones? Because as we've seen, even local players, that's an issue that happens.
That's just the way it goes, though, when you're getting elite players. I mean, Logan Cooley's and Snugger, Snugger's played 3 years. Nice.
But I think you're
with some of your local guys to stay longer, look home and favor 3 years, of course. But
I think that the staff really would like guys who would stay at least 2, maybe 3.
Sure.
I think that's what they're looking for is guys who could play 3 years of college hockey before leaving.
Right.
Because I think a one and done doesn't help you a ton unless it's the last piece. Two
Sure.
and done, it's got to
Well,
be
you
like
don't know, right?
Kobe
I
Baker
don't
type
think
guy.
either of them. I don't think they thought. I think they both thought. Let's be honest. Before they got there, that Renzel and Moore were both 3-year players.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there was any question they thought those guys were going to be 3-year players. Do I have? I mean, most likely.
I don't even know if they should have been 2-year players though, like based on the way this year's going for them.
Sure. No, I mean, I gotten to see more of them than probably you guys have, obviously.
I'm sure.
And, Renzel, I think he's got the higher ceiling in terms of, offense. Like Moore, I think his ceiling's third line center now.
Certainly what it feels like, right?
I think that's always because he's not like an elite scorer. He's a really nice player, does a lot of good things, but he's not an elite scorer. If he's not an elite scorer at college, what are the odds he's going to be an elite scorer in the NHL? You know what I mean?
He's an elite skater.
Elite skater.
He's an elite skater.
You can put him anywhere in the lineup though at any time for a time being, but I don't see him being a top 2 line guy for the long
for a playoff team.
Right.
Like he's
a third line guy. He's a third or fourth really good line center on a Stanley Cup type of team or a playoff team.
Yep.
Would that have changed if he played a third year? Who knows? Renzel was a year older, I guess. I think he almost had too much of easy street at the start. Like he didn't have to go to the minors, and now he has. And I think that's going to benefit him now. He's had a couple good games since he came back. But just to go back to Minnesota, I think the plan in their heads was that those guys would have been playing there this year. Would that have changed them completely? No, but I think it'd be a heck of a lot better.
Well, and Chesley too. Chesley's been playing the AHL all season. He left early. I think the biggest issue with this team was their defensemen were so young that their transition game was so bad early that it just didn't allow them to outscore any mistakes.
Sure.
So any mistakes they made cost them games. So I think that was the big issue there. But I don't see Bob changing his recruiting that much. They're trying to supplement when they can with non-traditional guys like Harper and MacArthur.
Right.
They're defensemen. So they're trying to find guys like that.
I'm not saying just be open to maybe anything.
Yeah.
I guess to an extent, right? Or at least be aware of everybody.
I think what he would be more likely to do is to be more aggressive in the portal.
I think that's, I mean, that's.
Well, obviously he didn't expect as many guys. It could have been a thing too where the guys are like, geez, so many guys are leaving. Maybe it's my time to leave as well.
I mean,
so many went at once.
Like, this is what we do. We play 2 years, and we're.
I know.
This is what you do. You play 2 years, and then
and we've talked about Kurth. Yes, Connor Kurth graduated in 3 years. Spectacular. A lot of summer school. Got it done.
Sure.
But where's he playing, Viggs? The ECHL?
Yeah.
Right. Did he get paid a lot of money? Probably not. Signing his NHL deal or whatever. And I mean, the other thing, it's hard for me to look. These guys don't know what a lot of money to them is. 50 to 80 grand at that age, I guess, seems like a lot of money. Now, if we look at when we're older, I mean, that's nothing in the totality of your life. Nobody can ever give you back. And I'll say this: I had the best time of my life. And in my senior year, we won a championship. And I had my favorite year in hockey, my senior year in Ohio State. You can never buy that. And that's doesn't have a price tag, and he'll never have that. And I'm not saying he made a bad decision, but he controlled his own decision there, but
I'm just saying
everyone's different. Everyone's got their own path.
How great a memory would it be to be in Vegas with your school at the end of this year?
Yeah.
I
mean, look at Jackson Lacombe, man. 4-year player and now is on the Olympic team, man. Like,
Gonna be making $9 million a year, isn't it?
Right.
Biggs?
Living in LA. Bummer.
Though I think he comes back in the summer. He like lives with Knives and Snugger, and I think they all just live together.
Think how perfect that is as a hockey guy, because he lives in LA, and in the summer he never is going to get cold again in his life for more than a day or two. If he's got to be on a road trip, the only time he's getting cold in his life is on the road. He's never going to get cold again. He's in Anaheim in the cold winter, and he's in Minnesota in the summer. Not a bad deal.
And the road is pretty nice, I think, for an NHL player. So
that too. Yes. Yeah. Even when I went to Winnipeg with the Blackhawks, it wasn't that bad. It was cold, but it was, you get treated pretty nice.
They got all those tunnels too. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, the upper they're not tunnels, they're above.
Well, you got tunnels below, and you got the skyways above.
Other places.
It's pretty slick.
Like those tunnels at Duluth, right?
A little bit Skyway,
Edmonton has tunnels. I know Edmonton has tunnels.
Skywalk.
Right.
Yep.
Winnipeg had up on the second or third floor of a lot of their downtown buildings. That was interesting. But I was there in November. It wasn't that cold yet. It was cold, but it wasn't.
I was there in February about 6 or 7 years ago to see a Wild game, and not all the skyways connect, so that's where you do the below tunnels, which was great because they got shopping, all that stuff on there. Then you can work your way up to the ones, go across the arena. It worked out great.
Yeah, cool little rink, a little small for the NHL.
It's 15. It's small, but it was so fun. It was just fun to go up there. And there was, you're probably a little too young for this, maybe you too, Viggs, but there was a bar in Winnipeg called the Regal Beagle, which was the name of the restaurant or the bar from Three's Company.
Three's Company.
For us Gen Xers, it's like,
see, wow. I'm right at the top of I'm just barely a Gen Xer by like a year or two.
What year were you born then?
What's that?
What year were you born?
I'm 46. I was 79.
Oh, so you're a Gen Xer.
I'm right at the top of it. But I know all that.
I'm a 79 too, Cappy. So
okay. You guys, so this is totally off topic, but now you brought up Three's Company. There is a great app to watch old TV, and then there's movies. It's called Pluto TV. It's completely free. You can stream it, download it, whatever, put it on your TV. And it has like all old movies, or not old movies, all old shows, old game shows, old seasons of Survivor. It's got movies like Wolf of Wall Street or Pulp, any movie you want. And it's a total free app. And just a lot of commercials on there. But you can watch Three's Company. Yeah. That's why I saw Three's Company. Like, holy shit, there's Jack Roper or whatever is the Jack Tripper. Roper was the
Mr. Roper was the guy downstairs.
Mr. Roper was the main manager.
Yep. I'm just older and I remember it was still on TV and not in reruns. That's all.
Oh, that I don't remember.
Viggs is getting a cold. He's going to get everyone sick at Mariucci this weekend, aren't you, Viggs?
Oh, geez.
No, I'm just got a little sniffle here. I'm okay.
I mean, it's almost impossible, right? Not to get something.
Yep.
I work from home. I get sick when I go to Mariucci. I pick up things from when you go to those places like that.
A lot of people, a lot of germs. A lot of kids, right? There's a good amount of kids at games, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the crowds? They have a lot of tickets sold for this weekend?
I don't know about this weekend. Last weekend,
it was great, right?
They sold over 10,000. I think it was 10-1 one night, 10-6 the other night. That's Saturday.
Full, right? That's full, isn't it?
That's selling tickets, but there was about 2,000 no-shows.
Oh, and that's not surprising.
It's not, and because
like an 80 to 85% scan rate is pretty good.
Yeah,
like we talk about this when we do the scan post articles. 85% scan rate's pretty good. That's why you want to oversell.
If they were in first place,
it would be full.
95% scan rate.
Correct.
Yep.
But people.
So I thought the crowds were good. I thought it was good atmosphere.
Sounded good. From just kind of. You could hear the buzz a little more, through the TV.
Students were excited. That adds a lot, always.
OnlyFans were excited.
The who?
OnlyFans were excited.
Why?
Miss Allie Ray was there. Mrs. Allie Ray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's a famous Gopher fan.
Right. Yes, and she lives in Florida, right? Tampa area.
St.
Right.
Pete. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Oh, she's on OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, hey, if someone wanted to pay me to do that, I'd probably think about doing it myself. Like maybe in a different way. Like they need a foot model. You want to see some nasty hockey feet. I'm sure there's some weird people out there that would pay for that. Honestly, there's a lot of weirdos in the world, right?
Oh boy.
Look at this callus that got formed by all
You
these
want to
years of
see
hockey.
the back, those backbone of almost every hockey player on the back of their foot that they get from wearing boots for 28 years. That so many, what I'm talking about, like that callus you build on the back
that rock hard callus on the back of your foot. Yeah, I got that.
Everyone has, and it doesn't hurt or anything, but it like put holes in all of my shoes and all my skates. If you wear a lot. Yeah, let's make a business out of it. I mean, what are we doing here? Almost 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night in the middle of winter.
I like it this way.
I'm okay with it, but
so yeah, it'll be interesting. We haven't had a Tim Bruley on in 15 years.
So he was in the first year, huh? And
yeah,
where was he then? What was he doing then?
Us show.
Same thing.
He was USCHO.
He created the site back in the 90s. He created it. He's still president. You'll see him at regionals. A lot of times he'll be at one of our. I think he was at. He was at our.
There's a lot of. There's not a lot of faces. Like I see so many of the same faces.
Yes, you don't remember names, but he was.
Or know where they go in the schism.
He's quiet though. He's not an on-camera person. When he does regionals, he was at our Sioux Falls one a couple years ago.
So then I might have saw him then.
But he was there as a photographer just to take pictures. And then once he gets to the Frozen Four, he hosts the party. He'll obviously host the Big Us Show party.
Okay.
And then
then I probably have seen him.
You guys left a little early for the big party we had because.
Well, but I mean, every year you're saying I've been to some of those.
It's his party. It's his party. Yep. So.
I think I was at the Tampa one, wasn't
it?
Well,
Jim Connolly's a little more out front.
I can't remember.
Connolly is definitely more out front. Yes.
Okay.
But then Frozen Four, he hosts the party, but a lot of times he's got tickets and just goes as a fan. And
sure.
Let's all his people do all the big stuff. So, but he's the one who came up with the pairwise stuff and figured out what the NCAA was doing and was the first one tracking that. So I thought it'd be great to have him on again, just because what's this NPI all about? And he would know so much about it because he's a nerd. He's, he writes all the software that runs on his site and keeps track of everything. So I've known him for almost 20 years. So
what's the biggest tweak to the system?
It really hasn't been Vigs. We just don't know yet because when they ran it for last year, it's like really the same as it was the pairwise.
Well, like what would the pairwise look like right now as opposed to what this does right now?
CHN has it up, but
yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to answer that other than I know that the MPI is supposed to remove the hurt from a bad win. So if you have a win against a bad team that would hurt your ranking, MPI throws it out. Whereas pairwise still counted that. Pairwise would have all these comparisons that would sort of lock teams into certain spots at the end. Like even though you win a bunch of games because your comparisons will never change, you can't get above someone. I think the other big one was the home road weighting. You're blank.
We can hear you, but you're blank.
Oh, damn. I can see everybody. Everything looks normal. And I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt. I just got a text from Ben Holden said, I love the Regal Beagle name drop. So he's listening on his way home from his men's league game, he told me.
Yeah, he came on our 300th episode. He was coming back from his men's league and he joined us for a little bit.
Weeks. That's great because he's doing every Michigan and Michigan State game the next month. So can you guys see me now or am I still dark?
Can't see you. But we can hear you.
You want me to get out and come back?
If you want, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
man.
I'll do that. I got another.
Go text Foster. Send him the link too. He won't pay attention, but
we got another 15 minutes of OT in us.
Oh, there he is. Now we see you again.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh. What do you do? What do you do, Vegas?
Yeah, but I'll be interested to see what Tim has to say about MPI. I know
Yeah.
he builds those scenario builders at the end of the year, and you can figure out, what are the scenarios for this to happen and this to happen. I feel like CHN just kind of has their Monte Carlo, but Tim can actually say, well, if this, and this happens, here's the result in the MPI. So he's really good at like saying, as we get to the end, these are the different scenarios, and this is what has to happen for these outcomes to show up in the ranking.
Yeah. You're right. So, and like I said, we haven't had him on in so long. I'm like, geez, I don't even think we weren't doing live back then. It was the first season. So it was like March of 2012 in our first season when we had him on.
There's no way Vosters is awake right now. He's got a little baby. Well, maybe like a near 1-year-old now.
He's going to start getting on Italian time too.
I mean, what did I see the times? The earliest game I saw was like 7:40 or.
That's not bad.
Right. Well, they're 6 hours ahead. They're not going to have a game earlier than 1 o'clock, I wouldn't think, or 12 there, 1:40. But they have one main rink and then a second rink that I don't know if they're even going to show.
I heard they might be using it for just the women, but they're not going to use it for US
They're going to try
Canada.
to have 3 games a day on that one rink.
On that ice too, that looks like it's having problems.
Yeah, I mean, not a great look. Not a great look. Yikes! This is the Olympics. What are we doing? Like the amount of money. Come on, man.
It's Taylor Twellman. What are we doing? What are we doing?
You know what? The wrong people are making money.
I'm not overly happy about this.
Yeah.
Well, how long is the Olympics even going to last? It is such a drain on every country or city that tries to put it on.
Yeah. Less in the winter, I think. A little less in the winter because
summer.
Like the skiing and all that crap is not even in Milan or whatever. It's in Cortina, right? It's over an hour away. But yeah, like the Summer Olympics, there's stories of like what's in Brazil and what they left there.
And Greece is a shambles and everything.
2000. Yeah, from 25 years ago. But well, what's LA is LA 2028?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
World Cup this summer.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Very.
Are they going to let people into the country just to go see their teams? And you're already hearing people says, we should just boycott it and just pull our teams. I'm like,
or how about in Canada? I mean,
or better yet, we'll only go to Canada. We'll only go to Mexico. Mexico could handle most of the. I mean, they've got plenty of stadiums into some of the larger cities.
Sure. Oh, I mean, soccer's huge there. I mean, Miami's going to be crazy. LA is going to be. I don't know what other cities are they using. Chicago didn't get anything. Miami, LA, Dallas. I don't know what else got. I don't even know.
I can't remember anymore.
I'll watch. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember the bidding was so outrageous expensive, like to guarantee money to the World Cup and FIFA. It was just like not worth it for venues like Allianz and things like that. So
yeah. Well. That'll be a big event. I almost forgot about that, but I don't know. I guess I watched.
Was it Chicago? Chicago hosted in '94? At least some games they had. I don't know if they had a US game, but they did. They hosted some games in '94.
That stadium is just too small. It's like 60,000 at most.
I went to a
I don't
World
think
Cup
they want
qualifier there.
They don't want
the U.S. play Honduras.
Right, US, they don't want to be in that small of a stadium where they know they're going to could get 80 to 90 at least. I think. I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know if that was a decision, but the Bears are going to be moving out of Soldier Field.
That's a whole cluster too, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, where's Soldier Field? It's a beautiful stadium. It's too small, and then the infrastructure around it is terrible to get in and out of there. It's just not.
Well, is there anything near it? It seems like you got what do you got? You got was it Michigan Avenue there along the the lake, and then
Right,
it's kind of
Lakeshore
off on its
Drive.
own.
Well, it's a long
Lakeshore.
drive
Sorry.
there.
I think
You know,
it's
and then
cool once
obviously
you're
the
there.
lake's on one side, so
Yeah.
right, that takes away one whole way of being able to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just like the reason why Chicago's traffic is so bad anyway is you have a lake there. You can't go in every direction to leave there. So and then the thing they have for the suburbs is should be and what they should do. They'll be able to, it'll look like, I think they want it to look a lot like LA, how their stadium is set up, but we'll see. Now they actually have a decent team and like a coach that knows what he's doing, which is shocking almost.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that whole renovation, what a waste that was.
Yeah,
it was a stopgap. They should have gone something.
They put a spaceship on top of the old thing, is what it looks like.
It looks so terrible. I mean, it just took away all the personality. Yeah, it didn't have all the features, but it's like, you know what? Yeah. It's a travesty what they did to that place.
Yeah.
To upgrade it.
I mean, and they're threatening to go to Indiana, which is hilarious. I mean, that could happen at some point if the thing out in the burbs hasn't gotten figured out yet, because there's a lot of jostling with money and who's going to pay for it. You know, maybe at some point they call their bluff, because there's a, you know, going to northwest Indiana is not much different than going to northwest suburbs of Chicago for a lot of people that are going to drive there to whatever. I mean, how many people go to 8-9 games a season? I don't know if there's that many that go to all the games, right?
I mean, it's not like New York plays in New York.
Right. They're in
Jersey.
Both are in Jersey. I mean, it would be a lot cheaper because the taxes in that state are a lot different than they are in Chicago and in Illinois.
But there's a state that's like that one a foot, that kind of bill, when it's not in, Indianapolis.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I don't know how. Maybe it would be cheaper for the team to build it there, so they wouldn't mind funding more of it. I don't know. But anyway.
What a mess.
Did you see that the University of Illinois bought their collective last year?
So close, man. So close. Can I just say fuck? Can I say fuck COVID one more time?
Would have been great to have another Big Ten school.
They are a team right now in the Big Ten standings if COVID never happened. Yeah. That's a fact. That was 6 years ago. They were announcing a program that was going to start in like 22 or 23. And by now it'd be a year or two into the program. That's a fact. And COVID messed the whole damn thing up. So there you go. I had to say it. Sorry.
And you know,
did you guys just cut me off? Am I back?
No, we hear you, but we don't see you again.
Damn. Okay, we're not doing this again. So
every time Cappy takes a text message during the show,
it's a text message.
Camera. I think that's
what it is. It's Ben Holden's fault. Then it's Ben's fault.
Yep. Every time
Holden.
Blame Holden when you have him on in a couple weeks.
Ben's got the link. He could come on at any time if he ever wanted to call you out.
He's probably driving right now, on his way back home. But you blame him for all this.
Oh yeah, why not?
Texting me multiple times while we're doing this. So, well, it's 11, almost 11. So it's time anyway, right?
All right.
Yeah.
You have a good one, Cappy.
All right, I'll stay on though. What do you need me to do to make sure this thing uploads?
I don't know. Let me see here.
Okay.
Well, I can always I'll send you a link like last
I'm a team player. I want to make sure I don't want to screw it up for you.
It says no data detected while recording locally for at least one of Cappy's feeds.
One of many.
One of many. We'll figure it out, dude. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. Well, I had a blast, fellas. I had a blast as always, and I don't know when I'll see you guys next. But if you need someone for the playoffs, I'll be around. Yeah. Well, I'm always down for talking hockey and whatever. So.
All right. You take it easy, man. Thanks for coming
on. All right, guys. Have a good night. Be safe out there.
We will.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Bye. Oh, and then he shows up right there at the last second.
Sorry, guys. I can't control anything. I'm out of here.
Later.
All right, guys. Later.
The man, the legend.
Let me
The
see if I
Cappy.
can kick him out so it doesn't look really goofy here. There we go. Yeah. What do you do?
It was a get Cappy going kind of night.
Yeah, it already
We
says
were able to get him
upload
going on a
incomplete.
lot of stuff.
I'll just send him a link. It's not a huge
Okay.
deal. I figured out with Pat, so we'll figure it out with Cappy.
Okay.
Oh boy, yeah, that whole Gavin McKenna stuff. It's like called your mom a whore or whatever. The rumors are. It's like still, dude, you can't just start
You can't just break a
beat
guy's
on
jaw.
somebody.
Like, sorry. Like,
Get one of your teammates to do it.
something. Just like you're gonna be a first round pick. Don't like
Yeah, but like some people were saying in the chat, he'll buy his way out of it. He has to. You got to do something.
Yep.
You can't risk a multi-million-dollar career on a stupid moment. So, what do you do? Oh,
Take a deep breath and we enjoy the weekend ahead.
yeah.
So
Are you
should be
coming
good.
down this weekend?
You know, I am a day at a time. My wife has been traveling, but I think I'll be there Saturday night.
She travels a lot for work, doesn't she?
I mean, off and on.
Okay. Do you have any thing planned for around the Frozen Four again? Like Mexico again?
I do have plans to go to Mexico, but it
There you
does not
go.
conflict with the Frozen Four.
Not that
So
Minnesota will be there, but still.
there's a chance that I could go to the Frozen Four and then Mexico.
Oh,
So that would be two pretty good back-to-back weeks.
yeah,
but
it would be. Yeah,
There's a lot of work that has to happen, I think, for the Gophers to get there.
that is correct.
But if they make it, I will do all I can to be there.
So a couple of show notes here for the crowd. You know, we'll have our show on March 4th for the Michigan State final series. And then no matter what, the playoffs game is going to be the next Wednesday. So we're going to move the podcast to Monday night that week for, prepping for the quarterfinals for the Big Ten, which happens on Wednesday. And then we'll kind of play it by ear, won't we, Biggs? If they win, maybe we can have a Thursday or maybe a Friday, maybe a Saturday morning or something like that. It depends on what happens. But we might do 2 shows that week just to kind of get everything covered and then just play everything else by ear, don't you think?
That's the way to do it.
So that instead of on the 11th, we'll have a show on Monday the 9th. I already have it on the calendar, so if you guys subscribe to the GPL calendar, it's already updated for all of you folks out there. I don't know. You got anything else?
That'll do her for tonight.
Yeah.
Stay healthy, everyone. Stay safe. Thanks for following along. Try some Cascade CBX Sport for aches and pains. You use that $5.
I got the big one here, the $5 thing.
Yeah. Just give it a shot. $5. It's kind of like icy hot with a little bit extra. So
it's got a nice smell to it too.
Yeah, nice lemongrass menthol kind of deal going. Yeah, it's soothing.
And it sounds like they're kind of making, competing podcasts here. So if you say podcast and it asks you, you tell them you got it from the GPL podcast.
That's right.
That would
be great.
Mint
and lemongrass.
All right, folks. You guys have a good one. We'll catch you next week. What you got?
Nothing. I mean, I thought they were supposed to be tough guys from the WHL. They could, hold their tongue.